What's good, everybody, and welcome. If it's your first time viewing us, welcome back. If you're returning, I'm the Nappy Dreamer,
And I'm Kia Blaine,
and we are the
the
Melanin
Melanin
Mindset.
Mindset.
Oh, I'm
I
shining
thought
tonight,
that was good
friend.
that time. I think I was real good that time.
I'm so done. I'm so done. All right, listen, any hoot. Y'all, we're going to be getting into it tonight, giving a little recap over 2022.
Mhm.
2022.
2022.
I gotta turn this light down. This is too much. 2022. So we're gonna be discussing some events, things that have been going on, but you know that's not why I'm here because Kia's gonna do that in a second. So if you're not already following us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on those notification bells, give us a quick thumbs up, and share this with someone you care about. Find us on Facebook at the Melanin Mindset. Find us on Instagram, Melanin Mindset underscore, and Twitter, Melanin Mindset underscore. And yeah, that's that. Friend, go ahead and do that thing that you do.
Okay, so this is a little different. I don't really have any definitions or anything for you right away, but we will start with January. So we kind of we're in May, so each month, something has happened that has affected our community. So we're just gonna kind of just have conversation talking about what has happened month by month so far in the year of 2022. So we can go ahead and start with January. The biggest thing that happened in January was our variant. We had the the Omicron variant of uh y'all know that stuff that
The
be going
vid.
around. Yeah. Of the vid. All right.
So, do you want me to comment on that?
Yes, please.
All right, because I did add the note down here. By December the 20th, 2021, it had been identified in all of the states, right? But by January, it was literally a major issue. Did that change anything for you in your house as far as how you were handling COVID prior to the Omarion variant?
Absolutely not. I still think everybody has cooties. I've always thought everybody has cooties, and yeah, like as far as like that, like the way we carry ourselves and the things that we are conscious of, I don't think it was that hard for the melanin community because we already are low-key OCD. So no, don't talk to me if you coughing. Yes, I'm leaving the room. And no, I didn't care what variant was. I don't care if it was the common cold. Like, get away from me, get out my face, put a mask on.
I can't. So I don't know about you, but before the pandemic, I was already washing my hands often enough, and I kept that Bath and Body Works hand sanitizer on my keys.
Mhm.
So it didn't really rock my world. And then Lysol wipes. When Lysol wipes ran out and everybody was running and losing their minds, I had my stock of Lysol wipes, not because of the vid, but because I like the ones. You remember, I like the ones that scrubby and wipey. I had
Yeah,
them all the time.
yeah.
The Lysol wipes, the shortage of things. I'm that weirdo that bought a lot of toilet paper to begin with. So yeah.
The only thing I will say about us as a community, and because that variant was not as severe, I do feel like a lot of people got a little lax in their care for themselves. And that's something like as far as like going to the checking with your doctor, even though you think you have it or you don't have it, like just checking up on yourself and checking with your doctor and making sure that you're okay health wise. I think because that variant wasn't as strong, us as a community probably weren't as worried about catching it as you were before when everybody was dropping like flies.
Right. Or people had already been through it. People had gotten vaccinated and things like that,
Hmm.
where they were just kind of like, well, I've been vaccinated or I'm not vaccinated, but I'm keeping my distance and being safe.
Yeah.
So it really, I don't think that it necessarily rocked my world. You're saying it didn't rock yours, but it definitely rocked the nation when all of that happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, people just started going crazy. And that was the biggest thing that we experienced in the month of January as far well not the only biggest but in the month
Hmm.
of January, and that also started the trickle down that I was telling you about with the issues that happened with those different plants and stuff like that. So the first one happened in January.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
But what made you put that in April though? Is that when stuff started
Oh, that's when it
getting?
got crazy.
That's when it got crazy. Okay.
Hmm.
So when we get to that, all right. So how about February, friend? What was one of the biggest things that started coming out in February that affected us and our community?
CRT, or critical race theory, was a huge topic of discussion amongst the school system. in February. It was a huge deal, so much so to where one school, not a school, but a school board or school district reported that a school let them know that one of the little girls wrote a note. The parents wrote an email because their daughter came home and their daughter was like, "Oh, I don't want to be white anymore because my yeah, she didn't want to be white no more because white people own slaves."
Mm.
How about when they did research, that email never happened?
Oh, so who put that out there? Like
No idea.
somebody lied and said that their little white girl said that they didn't want to be white? Like
Mm-hmm.
what type of sick twisted stuff is that? Like, okay. And then so is that what supposedly triggered all of this critical race theory?
Not even just that though. It was people who were like, "Oh, you're basically making our kids feel bad about where they come from. They make it feel like it's not possible to achieve the American dream." What other stuff was on there? Girl, it's all kinds of stuff on there that I put notes for. But simply put, for those who don't know, just so you know, for those who don't know, simply put, critical race theory states that US and social institutions such as the criminal justice system, education system, labor market, housing market, and healthcare system are laced with racism embedded in laws, regulations, rules, and procedures that lead to differential outcomes by race.
Okay.
Anybody viewing
So
or
that's
heard of
what
this?
critical race theory is.
Yes.
Okay. So that I'm sorry, my mind just went like 1,000 different places at one time. So it's a theory theory that our education system is laced with racism, criminal justice system laced with racism, and the housing market, healthcare system theoretically are laced with racism. Theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it means it's a hypothesis or an idea, so to speak. But so it's not necessarily true.
Oh man.
That's what it is. So what is the how why is it such a big impact in the school system then? Because I never went to school and nobody told me like I did when I was taught history in school. I was taught history in school. I wasn't taught that. And because of this history, you will not be employed.
Oh my gosh.
I
Listen.
wasn't taught in school that, oh, and because of this history, uh, you and your less than melanated counterpart can commit the same crime, but you're going to get life and they're going to get 5 to 10.
All right.
So
Example. Example. All
I
right.
wasn't taught that in school. I think that happened.
So the issues that the parents seem to be having that they're presenting, okay,
Hmm.
the issues that they're presenting are things like there should be a neutral presentation of content. So if you're going to talk about slavery, right? If
Hmm.
that's what you choose to teach is about the history of
Or
slavery,
you're
you
okay,
need
go
to
ahead.
teach it from, if you're going to teach it from negative, you also have to teach about the things that were benefited from it, basically. So you can't position yourself, you can't be one-sided when you teach these topics.
Or
Like you can't
like,
you
but
can't
is that like really a thing that's happening? Because I don't know a teacher. I don't know of a teacher who teaches one sided on like intentionally, except for the ones that's like tenured. Them people,
they do what they want.
they
They
do
do
what they
what they
want.
want, okay? Period.
But
They
for
do
the
what they want.
most part, and I mean, I have a lot of clients who are teachers, and some of the stuff that they go through of trying to stay neutral, I'd be like, "Oh, girl, couldn't be me. I'd be fired."
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I
But
tried and I
they
failed.
are very careful and just presenting information and not putting their opinion on it. And I would be optimistic in saying that most teachers are like that.
Mm. So in the event that they discuss something like George Floyd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about what the officer did. For that
Mm-hmm.
situation, they would have to also speak to what the officer tried to validate. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was afraid. He felt like he couldn't, that was, he had to do that because if he didn't, then he would have gotten harmed. So they have to teach it from the side of this is just strictly an event that took place, not a right or a wrong, a yes or a no.
Mm-hmm.
This is simply the event, the end.
Now, I don't know about anybody else's children, and guys, if you in the comments have had to deal with your students or yourself in educational situations talking about those topics, like what was your experience? Now, I know for like most of the young kids that I've been around, or like I said, the teachers that I know, it is always taught from a perspective of this is what happened, and then they usually allow the students to impose, you know, how they felt and let them have. It's a great thing for like if you have a class that's debate or something like that, but at the same time, I mean, half the time the kids come out with it themselves. This is not something that's like, I don't
But
feel like.
this content makes some of those students who may or may not be melanated feel either like they have no opportunity because they were less than from the start, or they were greater than from the start. And so that's the aspect that the parents are presenting in all of the articles and all the content that I've looked at so far about critical race theory. These parents are presenting it from that angle. Either a black parent doesn't want it because they feel like their kid is being taught that they're at a disadvantage.
They are.
I,
They are.
let me finish. Either, let me start over because you cut me off.
Mhm.
Either the kid is being taught that they're being born at a disadvantage, or they're saying that you're teaching your kids, and this is a stance that a lot of the melanated parents were presenting. Either you're teaching my child that they're born at a disadvantage, or you're teaching the non-melanated child that they're born with an advantage, that
Mhm.
they have this advantage over my kid, and it makes my kid feel like they can't be successful. Or it's making my kid feel bad. For the non-melanated people, their comments and stuff like, you're making my child feel bad because they're not melanated, and because they're not melanated, their ancestors were martyrs and horrible people, and so they shouldn't want to be who they are because of who their ancestors were or the history of their people. Friend, don't be doing that. Don't look like that.
Because I'm just like, they were. They
Oh
were.
my gosh.
You are. And now, but this is where I feel like parents, and this is where you're falling off because now it's your responsibility to teach your child right from wrong. It's your responsibility to show your child how to succeed and how to come through in this world better than it has been in the past. Like to just say, oh no, it never happened. Like, how do you correct it? Because it's just going to repeat itself again because there's still somebody somewhere teaching their little child that you better than, and there's still somebody somewhere teaching their little child that you are less than because of. So despite what happens at school, and I don't know why we put so much pressure on the educational system to teach our children morals and responsibilities, because that ain't where they learn it. They learn it at home, and they don't learn it by because mommy said do this. They looking at what mommy did, they looking at what daddy did, and
Yep.
that is what they're learning, and that is what they're going to emulate. I don't care. Fight me. I don't care what you say. Every child is going to
Not
emulate
fight
what
me.
they've seen their parents do. You could talk to them till they blue in the face. They are
Big
going to
facts.
do it consciously or unconsciously. They are going to copy you,
Yep.
parents.
Either they're going to be one or the other, friend. Either they're going to be a direct reflection of you, or you're complete opposite.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
either going to be an exact mirror of who you are, or they're going to just be your complete polar opposite.
And
And
and the funny thing is, even the ones who are the polar opposite they're still the same. Like they're doing it so hard that you end up still copying your parents
yep,
because
you try
that
so
is
hard and you
what
still,
affected you the most was what your upbringing was. And I
yep.
mean, even so much so, you think about the kids who've been adopted, still end up emulating their actual biological parents to some extent, and they might not have ever even met
Whole facts.
them.
Whole facts. And friend, there's a note that I had put down here because I found out, and this was crazy. Listen, moms in New Hampshire have formed a group, and they are offering $500 to anybody who can bring them the name of a teacher or get a teacher reported successfully for teaching anything racially driven.
Now, let me tell you something. If I was a principal, I would have all my teachers report themselves. We're gonna run y'all broke before you gonna give all of us $500, and we's gonna keep our jobs.
Oh man, run me my money.
Gone over there and report Miss Smith. These are idiots out here
Mm-hmm.
giving out money. You first of all, you can't control what happens when your child leaves home and goes somewhere else, and then now you want to control and dictate. You could put all the laws you want to in place. You can talk to this teacher, threaten this teacher's job. Let me tell you something. If it comes to a situation and that teacher want to say what they got to say and do what they got to do, it's going to happen
Period.
regardless. And then you could be like, oh, well, now they need to get arrested. But guess what? Your little child still learned how this world operates. Not even this world, because I can't even talk for this world. I can only talk for where I live at in the U.S.'s of A's.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no way that they're not going to somehow come in contact with this.
That's valid. So, friend, how about it's under February? Because as of February 2022, there are 37 states so far that have adopted legislation and bills to support removing this content from school.
But what is the content? That's the part that I'm confused, because you just told me that this is a theory. So that means there is no actual content that says, certain businesses are only going to hire a certain number of minorities, or there's nothing like tangible that says this is this. So what is it what are we banning? I don't even know what we're banning. How do
All
you
right.
ban a
So
theory?
they say, listen, it's called critical race theory
Mm-hmm.
because a theory is the idea used to account for a situation or justify the course of action. So critical race, justification of the courses of action. So pretty much what they're doing is telling them, like, because you can do blah blah blah, or you should have the space to passionately express your views or your thoughts on what's going on in the area, or you should be able to
You're saying
teach your.
I'm so confused.
The theory is not hypothetical. The theory is stating that this is a solid observation of the course of action. You get what I'm saying? So it's when you put all of that together, that's what it comes out to in translation. I know what you're saying, but that's where it comes out through in the translation. So it's basically saying that
Then
they're
it's not a theory.
explaining, right, but it's called critical race theory.
But it's not a
That's
theory.
the name of it.
Now that's American. That's as
They're
American as it gets. Let's call
they're
it
not.
something it's not.
Yeah, I guess.
Because if it's a theory, it means that it's still something that we're discussing. We're not sure if that's actually true, or like if laws are racially biased, blah 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 blah. That's a theory. That means we're still talking about it. We're still discussing it, whether it's true. So
Yeah.
how are we banning a theory? Oh, we're okay. March. What happened in March, child? Because
Oh Lord. In March, on March 3rd, 2022, there was the Brianna Taylor ruling.
yeah.
So that happened this year, 2 years later, just for the
Mm,
record.
mm.
But we're
Yeah,
not going to talk about that though. We're not talking about
yeah.
that. That's not the point. The point was on March 3rd when they gave the ruling, they found no one guilty, but they did revoke the no knock warrant concept. How did you feel about that when that ruling came out that they were found not guilty?
Honestly,
Hmm.
I must have blacked it out because I didn't even realize that they were not guilty.
Yep.
So I guess I'm reacting to it now.
How do you feel?
Okay. I don't really know like the how in depth this how the details of the story, like why did they shoot her? Did she shoot at them? I mean, I don't.
No, she was in a
Okay.
room. There was no altercation between her and the police at all. She got killed in the crossfire because they came in with a no knock warrant. So a no knock warrant, for those who are viewing, a no knock warrant is basically a warrant for the police officer to enter by force, or unnoticed without knocking. Okay, unannounced. There we go.
Mhm.
Into a place And it is for reasoning that if they were to notify whoever they're coming to get that they're coming by knocking, making their presence known, that person would either be a flight risk or they would be in danger, if they knew that the cops were there. Like that would put their lives at risk. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a no knock warrant gives the police the ability to just bust in, like to just unannounced show up. So that's what took place. And unfortunately, she was caught in the crossfire.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't even there for her.
I know that. See, I know all that. I know that they weren't there for her. I just don't understand. This is the part with officers. I don't understand, like, what is their training that makes them so afraid all the time to just instantly kill somebody?
I
Like,
believe that he did have I think the guy had a weapon. That part I should have looked up.
there
I
was,
believe the guy,
okay, this is what that was what my question. There was still somebody else in the house,
yeah,
but it wasn't the person they were looking for, but they thought it was.
I believe so.
Mm.
Don't you
This
quote me
is
on that.
this is a
Look here,
sticky one.
Beyonce's internet. Don't quote me on that.
That's what makes it kind of tricky, because if they honestly did obey the law and do what they were supposed to do, like, they did the task that they were supposed to do, it ended up not being the wrong person. So I don't know how should you handle that.
Oh,
I
so
mean,
it says police fired 32 rounds into the apartment during two
like, for
flurries or
what
waves
did
of.
they think it was
I
an
got.
army in there?
I'm trying to let me listen. Let me tell the people. All right. So they fired 32 rounds into the apartment during two flurries or waves of shots,
Mm.
separated by a minute and 8 seconds. Yes. It says Mattingly, the only officer who entered the residence, fired 6 shots. So basically, the other shots came from
Oh, so these was
outside.
the people standing outside shooting from behind. Oh, punk ass. I'm sorry. So I
Mm-hmm.
mm, I don't know, because that is the jacked up part. That's where I feel like our justice system lacks. It's like, if there's this one blanket rule, but there's never anything taught to help you deal with different situations.
Right.
Like, number one, identify who the heck you looking for.
Right. Whole facts. You
Like,
got to know who you're looking for.
know for a fact
There's
that
a
that person
component.
is there. And then if you're not 100% sure that that person is there, at least look for the people who shouldn't be shot. And bring the rest of civilians to safety. Gosh.
Stan said police officers aren't brave anymore.
They're
They don't
not.
carry the badge with honor, although they are extremely honorary, right? We got to hold them to
Mm.
such a high regard, but they are not walking around deserving of said regard, if that makes sense. So, not saying that all police officers are like that. I don't believe that by any means, because I know there's a common contradiction that all police are terrible. I happen to know some pretty valid police officers. But at the
Absolutely.
same time, it's not the ones who are right that are being protested. It's the ones who are not right
So
that
it
are
makes
being
me wonder,
protested.
did they get rid of the no knock warrant altogether, or did they modify it?
Let's see.
Because I if you know, well, see, that's probably me watching TV shows and stuff. But like, if you know somebody, this criminal is like extremely aggressive and will kill everybody in sight, then to me, like, that type of, you need a no knock warrant for that type of situation. Because as soon as you knock, if this person crazy, he gonna kill them all.
So valid. So valid.
But
So valid.
but to go pick up a drug dealer, or to go pick up somebody with fraud, or a non-violent criminal with a no knock warrant, I don't understand that.
Right. So I love how she just said most police officers are afraid. Linda, I
Mm,
thought no one was going to say that. Let's go on to April. Are you ready?
mm-hmm.
Let's move on to April. There are some police officers who are afraid, but I watched. Oh, friend, you sent me, and I can't remember the lady's name, but she had those TikToks where she was talking about current events and stuff like that, and she
Yes,
said
I can't never remember her name either.
by nature, you respond fearfully when you're afraid, right?
Yes,
So, fearful response, you either have the what is it called, fight or flight.
yes.
So if you feel like you're in a place where you're not safe or you're afraid or you're frightened, either you're going to stand down and be ready to fight, nuck if you buck, or
Or
you're
you
going
leave.
to take off, right?
Or you leave.
So the account of how many young people, and I'm going to say young people because these people are like 40 or younger, that are
Mhm.
being, I'm going to just say the word assassinated at this
Mhm.
point. These people, the majority, are facing away
Mhm.
or fleeing. So
Yeah.
that is a flight response to fear, right?
Mhm.
Naturally, a flight response to fear. So with
So if
that,
the person I am pursuing is running away, how am I fearful? So I'm so afraid of them running away. I'm gonna shoot them in the back.
my thing is, you have a taser. You could have grabbed your taser and shot him and disabled him. You could have throw your baton real quick. Hit the. They have the skills. They're trained. You got aim.
Well, at least that's the
You know what I'm
thing, and
saying?
and
Like,
that's and that's the thing that I said. Well, maybe they're not trained the way and because I always tell myself like I don't know what I would do in that situation because I've never been in that situation. But at the same time, like in our heads, or at least from watching Police Academy when I was a kid,
I was
I
about to
think
say
they're
police academy,
trained a
friend. I was
certain
about to say.
way. In my head, I'm like, aren't they trained to, disable and disarm rather than just disintegrate? Like, are they getting their D's mixed up? Like, I just, and that's, I don't know. In most states, you're not supposed to shoot them if they're running. Yeah.
Mm,
Okay. All right.
that part. So in April, I'm gonna give the first piece of April because we're not gonna give him a whole lot of time, but we are gonna definitely acknowledge the fact. But the first thing that happened in April was with Christian Toby Ambumseli, 27, who was
Mm-hmm.
tragically killed reportedly
Mm-hmm.
by his girlfriend Courtney Taylor.
Mm.
The internet fell apart because they proclaimed or argued over what Christian openly professed as his preference.
Yes. That was a yeah, we're not gonna give this much time because that was one of them situations where I just was like,
That's why I said, let me say it real quick before we do this commercial.
Yeah,
We're
it's
not
like,
gonna get.
but I think what the whole controversy was, because black women have been known to now use these social media platforms and to speak up and say what we're for and what we're against. And when this happened, everybody was like, "Oh, where's all the black women now?" And sis, we ain't had nothing to say.
He he didn't want nothing to do with black women, and he actually made it clear in a few of his posts, even saying things like, he didn't need them to be there for him, so they decided they would not be. So he was
I
murdered,
mean, if
unfortunately, April the 3rd, 2022.
yeah, R.I.P. That's all I can say.
Ugh. So, Linda, I'm going to grab that comment when we get back from this break. So, if you didn't already know, y'all, we are brand ambassadors for Dianu Apparel. Okay. So, we're going to go ahead and run a commercial. Hopefully, you all stick around with us, and we'll be right back. What's good, Mindset family? The Melanin Mindset is thrilled to announce we are the newest brand ambassadors for Dianu Apparel. Dianu Apparel is a black-owned apparel company that offers trendy African-inspired prints in each and every garment. They're offering our listeners 15% off their purchases just by using promo code Melanin Mindset. There's something for him, there's something for her, and there's even something for the kids. So head right over to dianu.com using the description link down below, or just simply enter Melanin Mindset at checkout and save today. Thank you all so much for hanging with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, please go ahead and click that link down in our description box below, and you'll be able to shop today, saving 15% on each and every purchase, clearance included. And y'all listen, Linda. They accept, not literal, Linda.
Yeah.
They
She over there
They
like,
accept
huh?
they accept Afterpay and they accept Zip. So go ahead and be budget conscious when you order your Diano apparel today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So also I'm gonna go ahead and throw this little dynamic in here. We are currently still waiting to receive more sponsors for the Adopt a High School graduate program. So the Melanin Mindset is hoping that you all will be able to support us or aid us in supporting. Our goal is 10 graduates for us to be able to support them on their way off to college. So if you're interested in the Adopt a High School graduate program, please check out our website, www.themelanimindset.org.
Okay,
All
so you
right.
were going to go back to Linda's comment. You said before I went to
Yes.
commercial. So that's what makes me feel that they're either shooting out of fear or just, yeah, like, I don't understand. What's the other option?
Right.
Like, what is it? It's either you scared or you just wanted to gun a melanated person down.
Facts. So that leads me to April the 4th, friend. And so, Linda, to your comment, that's why I was like, I thought you'd never get here, honey, because we're going to April. So there was a gentleman on April the 4th named Patrick Leola. Okay. Mr. Leola was 26 years old and had been pulled over in a residential neighborhood at 8 a.m. on a traffic stop. The license plate on the car did not match the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately 2 minutes. Now, the number they give in the research is so specific. I don't know why approximately is what preceded it. But
Yeah.
it says approximately 2 minutes and 40 seconds after
Approximately, that's very
Mr.
exact.
Leola, right? Mr. Leola steps out of his car and appears confused, asking what he's done wrong. After a brief exchange about whether he understands English or has a driver's license, Mr. Leola turns away and is grabbed by the officer. He starts to run and is chased by the officer, then wrestled to the ground, and it appears to be a struggle over the officer's taser. He says, "Let go of the taser." The officer yells before he then pulls out his gun and shoots Mr. Leola. The Grand Rapids Police Union says the officer, and I quote, I have a quote. I've always wanted to say that. And and I quote, officers have the legal right to protect themselves in the community and volatile, dangerous situations such as this in order to return to his or her family at the end of their shift, end quote.
Wow.
So that is what took place in the month of April. Also, food manufacturing plants are rapidly burning to the ground. If you are viewing,
I cannot. I'm stuck on Mr. Leola. Like,
oh my gosh, friend, I don't know. It's not too much we can really say about that one because it's like again, it's kind of at a point your brain just shifts to again. Okay, cool.
it
Again,
does. It's
work.
like, dang, who's next? That's like your brain just like, who's next?
Yeah, again.
8 a.m. I don't know near person who even think about being violent at 8 a.m. That man probably was still half asleep.
All right, so Leola did have a sketchy past. However, in this particular event, I don't see where his
But
past.
how did the officer know Leola had a sketchy past if you don't even have his driver's license yet?
Right, because the tag don't match the car. So how you know who he is?
So you don't know who tag it is, you don't know who car it is, or who's driving it.
Yeah.
Man,
Ah,
that happened to us
Dan
before.
said.
Where our tag didn't, we had bought a new car and we
Uh-huh.
were transferring the tags from one van to the other, and the dealer did it wrong. So we had got pulled over because our tag didn't match our car. Luckily for us, we had all of our sales stuff in the car with us. But yeah, I'm like,
Hold
well,
up. That happened to you for real, friend?
no, for real. We had a, was it gold?
I
The
had the same scenario. I
the
had a
thing
white PT Cruiser.
the thing that made it, the thing I guess that made him be like, I'm, because it's still the other car that it was registered to was still ours.
Mm,
So but I think about, like, if it wasn't, it could have seemed
right,
like we stole a car or stole a tag.
right.
Yeah, but
or that you're
when
trying to
he
be
looked,
shady
he's
and
like,
swap tags.
this tag is registered, and we always have the same car because of the size of our family. It was like, this car is registered to a red van, not a gold van. But then it was like, well, the red van is ours too. It's just the dealer didn't transfer the tags properly.
Mm, yeah. So, you see what Stan said?
Let me say that was a
That was a
crazy
crazy
scenario.
scenario. You have to ask, what would you do as an officer under those circumstances?
Okay, I don't know. Am I imagining it, or did you say that he was on top? Wasn't the officer on top?
Yep.
I'd have beat the fool out of him.
Yep.
He'd have got all of these hands.
Yep.
I don't see why you had to kill him.
Right. And if he was the,
He would have got all. Like, sometimes when I see officers, like when they slap somebody or they might kick them or stomp them, still messed up. But I'll be like, thanks for not killing her. Thanks for not killing him. But still jacked up. But come on, throw them hands. What y'all learning? Y'all not learning nothing? I feel like Taekwondo should be on the top of the list of the police academy. Like, show them how to beat somebody up without having to kill them.
Stan, I'm gonna be real. No, I did not have
I didn't see the video.
any energy to watch another one. No.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, it's sad at this point. I just didn't have any energy to watch another one. I do know that based off of what I found while I was researching the situation, that apparently Mr. Leola had some previous problems or issues. His mom released a statement saying that he had been doing so good since his last run in, and that he had been getting his stuff together. He just made a poor choice in driving the car. Yeah.
But I just don't even understand. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. We
Yeah.
still don't even know that this is Mr. Leola. So that's how I don't see how his past or his background comes into question at this point. It's 8:00. He hungry and half sleep and don't want to know what the hell y'all pulling him over for. Like,
oh man,
how do we bring his past into this? Because at the time when you did what you did, you didn't even know who he was.
Because you already know what
him.
the media, you know what the media does, friend. You know what the media does. So Mr. Leola unfortunately lost his life in this event. And so this is the stuff Mr. Leola was doing. You see, he was already causing a problem. He already had the tag. He had to swap the tag on the car. So that's illegal. But that's not the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't equal up to the death penalty.
And you still are not the executor of the death penalty.
That part, you know?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
There's more for April, though, friend. April was real hype.
Yes.
There's more April. Give me a second. Let me get that back up.
Oh, yeah. So if any of you have been grocery shopping or even food shopping, restaurants, everything, the prices of food are higher than they've ever been. And like, I don't drink milk. People usually use the milk as an example. But I mean, honey, chicken wings is becoming less and less attractive because of how much they cost.
Yes. So listen, I'm going to give a quick rundown for the viewers, okay? I'm going to just give a really fast rundown. So it actually started in January on the 14th when an explosion happened at the Cargill Nutrina feed mill. And that was in LeCompte, Louisiana. In February on the 16th and the 22nd. So on the 16th, Louis Dreyfus reports a fire at the largest U.S. soy processing plant in Claypool, Indiana. On the 22nd, there were 7 injured in a explosion that engulfs the Shearer's food plant. In March, the 19th, there were 2. Are there 2? Let me check. Yep, those are 2 separate locations. So there's a fire to destroy a Walmart distribution center in Plainfield, Indiana. Okay, that's Indiana again. Then 50,000 pounds of food is destroyed after the fire rips through Maricopa, Arizona's food pantry. There is a potato processing plant on the 24th. There is a massive warehouse fire at a large fresh packing facility on the 31st. This is still March, by the way. Then we come over here to April, where on the 11th, crews battle a fire for 16 hours east of Conway's Beef and Pork, New Hampshire. Yeah, and then on the 13th of April, a plane crashed into an Idaho potato and food processing plant.
Not the potatoes?
Listen, on the 14th,
That's why I can't find my chips.
I'm done. On the 14th, bruh. Taylor Farms Packaging, the building in Salinas, California, is deemed a total loss. No details on that. And I tried to look it up and
Mm.
couldn't find further details. And then on the 19th, a fire destroyed the Azure Standard headquarters in Oregon, the largest independent food distributor, sorry, in the United States.
Wow. And
But
they
I'm
caught
not
on fire
done.
too? Wait, it was caught on
Yeah.
fire?
A fire. And then the
Oh,
last one is a plane crash in General Mills plant in Georgia on the 21st of April.
that's why ain't no cereal. Let me tell you something. What's going on? What's
I got a
really
fun
going on?
fact though. I do have a
What's
fun
the
fact
fun
though.
fact?
The fun fact is, did you know that? No, not General Mills. Is it General Mills? I'm gonna come back on my fun fact because I think I just
Okay,
messed
okay,
it up.
okay. But so how many places did you just name that
Oh
have
man.
had a substantial loss of food? And these are the people that distribute food
Mm-hmm.
to our country.
Yep. It is a total of 13. Oh, wait. This didn't have a date on it though. 27 million chickens and turkeys and counting. That means more to come. Are
Mm-hmm.
being culled because of the bird flu. And friend, you got to tell them what cold means again because I forgot. I
Cold
didn't know
just
what it
means
meant.
when you cull an animal, it means you're selecting specific ones because they have the potential to spread the disease or whatever's going on farther. So they pick those how many?
Um,
27 million?
let me pull it back up. Hold on.
It
I
basically
minimized
just
it.
means
Girl.
that they got picked to get killed
Yeah,
instead of
27 million.
picked. It means that they got picked to get killed and thrown away rather than killed to eat.
Basically. So what they did
Mm-hmm.
was they from my understanding based off what we had discussed before cuz now I remember. Basically what ended up happening is they sorted through the chickens that were affected as opposed to I'm just not the yard bird. This is
Yes,
racist.
yes, yes.
I can't.
Yarbird.
So yeah, basically they picked out the affected chickens instead of killing the whole batch. So instead of just killing everybody, they selected the ones that were affected and killed them.
hmm
But still 27 million is a whole heck of a lot, bro.
Yeah, and to pick 27 million. Well, who's to say the other? How many left? And who's to say that they weren't affected too? But
Listen, it explains so much. I got my first shipment today for a meal prep. We're not gonna call their name yet because shoot, we need to get that good sponsorship. We're not giving it for
Mhm.
free. But a meal service program, I just signed up for it and I got my first box today. And I looked at my chicken and I was like, that chicken looked a little scarce. You know, it was chicken breast and it was kind of like, it wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. It wasn't giving
Mhm.
full chicken breast. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is definitely something that's going on. Friend, are you ready to slide on into May? Because, girl, this is exhausting. I didn't realize
It is.
there's so much other
There's a
things
lot,
that have
and this is
happened.
just what we. This is just what you found. We ain't talking about the stuff we overlooked.
Right. This is the things that we wanted to have a controlled conversation about. Because if we would have went on a tangent about everything that's happened, y'all, we would have been here for a couple of hours. We would have been like, all right, I'm about to close. I'm about to close. And
hmm
we ain't closed
hmm
yet. No, we didn't make it to May.
No, that was just April. That was April. We was in April, so we in May now.
We headed into May, y'all. All right, but May is not as heavy. All right, we're gonna close it out, unfortunately, on a heavy note, but we got something to go with it. Okay,
hmm
but
How you said
so
this? This pretty daggone heavy. May was pretty heavy too,
yeah,
because
I guess
we just keep losing lives.
right. I said it's gonna end kind of heavy. We gonna. He said I'm logging off. This is depressing. Well, before you log off, Tech Dog, go ahead and hit that share button. Share it with someone you care about. Make sure you've subscribed to our YouTube channel right out there. I see you're commenting on YouTube, and then go ahead and turn on those notification bells so you can be amongst the first to know when we do go live. You see what
Mhm.
I did there? See
I
what I
see
did?
what you did there. I see what you
Thank
did
you.
there. Good job.
All right. So, first thing we have up on our list for the month of May, and some of you all might feel a type of way. I'm gonna be real with you. He did rub my feathers in reverse, but that's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Kevin Samuels died on May the 5th, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's tell them who Kevin Samuels is.
Go on and tell them, friend.
Well, if you don't know who Kevin Samuels is, and it took me a minute to figure out who he was. One of my clients introduced me to this individual. Kevin Samuels was a podcaster, similar to what we do. He would go live, but he would have people. He had days where people would call in, and he basically was telling what most people. I'm gonna just say what most people would know about him. He was known for telling Black women what's wrong with them
Mm-hmm.
and why they don't have a man.
Placing a value
Yeah.
on. Now, granted, don't get it twisted. Now we have value, and yes, we should know our worth and know our value and where
Mhm.
we stand. Right? I'm cool with that part. But
Yeah.
the problem that I have is where you say you don't deserve to have. You get what I'm saying?
And but I feel like that's how people took it, but I don't think he ever said that you don't deserve. Like I don't feel like that was he wasn't saying like you don't deserve. He was almost like telling them like look at your reality. Like let's just look at your reality and let's look at the reality you're trying to become a part of. First of all, a lot of these women their reasoning for wanting to become a part of this having a high value man is what they called it. He would ask them why, and the answers they would give, I'm saying they asked for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
they
asked
asked
for
for it.
it. They
You
knew
asked for it.
they knew what Kevin
You
Samuels
you
did. They
asked
knew
for him to rip you a
that
new
he
one.
basically would just speak his mind. That would be like somebody running up through a TikTok live when we on there.
Mm-hmm.
Say something. You might hear
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Go ahead. Well,
You
that's what
know,
you got. And
go on and say it if
this
that's
is
where
the
you at
pressure
right
you
now.
about to get back.
Yep.
So, like for that, the one example was the one, and I feel like this was probably his most viral video where he told the lady she was average at best. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing that people missed was the lady called herself average. She
Right.
called herself average first.
When he asked her on
When
a
he
scale of
asked
one
her
to
on a
10,
scale of 1 to 10, what are you?
and you can't say 7.
And he said you can't say 7. I I don't know if I'm 100% yet, but I swear she said 5.
I
I
don't
think
remember
she
what her
said
answer
5.
was either, friend. I
I
don't
think she
remember.
said 5, but then she said when I put myself together, 8. So she gave herself a lower number, but then she said like when she do her hair and her makeup and get dressed, she gave herself a higher number. So he said to her, "You by your own admittance, you average at best." She had
Mm-hmm.
a sketchy past with she had a sketchy baby daddy, a 13-year-old son, da 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 da.
He's like,
But
he
she
told her she had a grown man.
yeah, but she wanted a high value man. And he was basically telling her that a high value man has no use for you.
Yep. A high value man does not want, any of that. And to him, his description of the high value man, y'all just got to go look at old Kevin Samuel
Yeah,
stuff
like if
because
you
we don't
have to
have
get some
enough
time,
time to tell
look
you.
up his videos, and we could talk about it again at a later date or on a feed on Instagram or something. But I
Yeah,
don't know. His tactics and his delivery was controversial,
it was
and
abrasive.
it made people say some really cruel things after this man lost his life.
Right. And that's the problem that I had is the fact that the man is gone. And
Mm-hmm.
I heard someone when I was looking at a few extra things today, because I was like, let me add a couple of things in here. So I was
Mm-hmm.
looking through a couple of things today, and I heard someone actually say, this is the thing. Y'all are arguing and saying, oh, thank God he ain't here, or he was this, or he was that, or this, that, and the third. Do you realize that man is dead? And whether
Mm-hmm.
or not you agreed with him or not is no longer relevant.
It's totally irrelevant.
And it's like you're saying all these things, but like it's no longer relevant. Like people are actually releasing YouTube videos downing the fact that his funeral was small, but the reality was his funeral was small because his family was afraid that if people knew where the
Yeah,
funeral
if you
was,
read these comments, if that was my family member, trust me, it would have been 10 of us at the funeral.
yep, it was so
I don't
small.
blame them because there was you don't know who to trust, you don't know who to think they here for publicity or whatever. No, it should have been small.
Yep,
In
and the
his
family
case,
said he
because
had
there was so much
designated people.
controversy surrounding him, it definitely should have been small.
Absolutely. He had designated people who were his followers or subscribers who I guess he had deemed loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Because from what I understood, he went out with a happy man. But
Mm-hmm.
uh-huh. And so he had people who he had deemed loyal. His family was aware that he deemed them loyal. Those people were indeed invited to the funeral. But
Okay.
other than that, the funeral was very small. And a lot of people are releasing YouTube videos talking about the fact. Make it make sense.
Well, the only way you can make that make sense is they're just trying to capitalize on somebody else's whatever.
Valid. It's the name.
Hmm.
They're putting the name in their
It's
titles to get
it's
attention.
it's it's a part of the game. It's a part of the social media game, which is a disgusting game, but it is what it is.
Valid.
It is what it
Um,
is.
the next thing that's on the list there is about the Dave Chappelle situation. Listen, did y'all watch? So we didn't mention about the Chris Rock and Will Smith because we feel like they rocked the internet enough already.
Yeah. When
But
did
Dave
that happen
Chappelle,
though?
that was in April.
Okay, that happened in April. Just to put it in the timeline.
Yeah. Oh no, that was March. I'm sorry, it was March.
It was March.
It was March.
Must have been the end of March.
Yeah,
I don't know why I
it
feel
was.
like it just happened. Mm.
It does feel like it just happened. Well, Dave Chappelle met a similar fate, and if Tech is still watching, I know he's got something to say.
Uh-huh.
So Dave Chappelle had met a similar fate, and Stan, I would love to hear what you got to say too. Uh, so, so homie, let's paint the picture. Here we are, Dave Chappelle doing his show, right, doing his stand
Yeah.
up, cracking his jokes, saying his piece, and launches someone just jumps out of the crowd onto the stage with something with something that appears to be a gun. It wasn't a real gun, but it was a real knife attached to it.
It was a knife. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
and
gun attached.
so he
It was not
ran
a knife attached to a gun.
up on Dave Chappelle in attempts to attack him. It
Mm-hmm.
seemed like I say Dave Chappelle and the numbers started creeping up. um it
Interesting.
might be psychological. That's interesting.
Mhm.
Anywho, so yeah, so basically the gentleman jumped out of the, let's not call him a gentleman because he has a name. His name is Isaiah Lee, age 23. It just
Mhm.
happens to rhyme. So he jumps up
Not
and
age.
gets ready to attack Dave Chappelle. And yes, he successfully gets at him, but he doesn't get to him. And
Mhm.
he not only got monkey stomped, and I'm gonna say it like that. He got homie got monkey stomped, okay? Straight up monkey stomped
Mhm.
by Dave Chappelle security, not to mention Busta Rhymes.
Mm.
Who else? Jamie Foxx. So who else in the world can say I got beat up by? And Dave Chappelle got a few licks in too. Dave Chappelle said he got a few licks in too. Chris Rock came up on stage, but he wasn't throwing no hands, honey. He came up on stage, but he wasn't throwing hands. He made a comment and said, "Was that Will Smith?"
That was hilarious. I was dying.
Yes, he got monkey stomp. Do you hear me? Monkey stomp. And there's not very many people in the world who can say they got beat up by Dave Chappelle, Busta Rhymes, Jamie Foxx, and his whole security team. And Dave Chappelle decided not to press charges against this young man for whatever reason he did. All right.
Mhm.
I'm guessing this is why that comment right there. He got
Yeah.
what he asked
Homie
for.
got what he asked for.
They basically they got him. I'm done. Woo-ha, got you all in check. I quit.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
so he got stomped into the ground, and Dave Chappelle was like, he felt like he got his just desserts. Justice was handed out in this
Yes.
moment. But to me, I'm gonna be real with you. Yes, he did get he got justice served in an immediate sense, but at the
Mhm.
same time, something was wrong with this person. Why were they not arrested?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Something was
that's
wrong.
that's the part about this justice system again. The him getting up and attacking him was against the law. But
Right.
the
It doesn't
law will
matter what he
only
said.
go into place if I, the person who was assaulted, say I want to press charges.
And the reason that I have so much disdain for this whole topic, I felt this way before I learned this new information, y'all. So when
Mm-hmm.
I drop this bomb, just go and embrace yourself. So how about this? He just got charged with attempted murder. The same person, yes, Isaiah Lee, age
Mm.
23, just got
Mm.
charged with attempted murder because he attempted to kill his roommate.
Wow. Now imagine had he killed his roommate. Like that's why he should have been arrested for what he did. Because clearly, for you to jump on stage and attack Dave Chappelle, you have lost every marble you own.
Every single one. And it wasn't a little event either. So it's just like for him to get up there and go in like that. And then y'all arrested him, or should I say retained him?
Mm.
Detained him. And then let him go. But it's like doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And
That's
so why
somebody
is
who
he not
he definitely should have been. I mean, just your mental. They should have mentally put him somewhere because clearly you had a death wish jumping up on that stage. They should have Baker acted him. Like, come
Whole
on,
facts.
something like
Whole
you
facts.
just let him go.
So, friend, let's go on and slide over here to May 14th when the Buffalo shooting happened at the grocery store
Yeah,
and 10 people were killed.
I don't even know what to say to that. And okay, I do know what to say with that because it kind of goes back to this CRT again. So, do we blame? So, did this child? Because it was a child who did it. 18 is a child. I don't. Yeah, y'all know in the melanin community, you ain't grown until you paying all your bills on your own. So, this 18-year-old felt the need to go kill a bunch of minorities.
They
So
said he was in an impoverished community when he did it. So they said it was a
what he was in,
non-melanated
or
person.
did he live there?
He went to
He went
the
there. Like he
right.
targeted this area.
He went to the hood basically.
Yes. To go kill a bunch of melanated people. So do we blame critical race theory for that? Or does he live in a household that has taught him that he's better than and they're trash? And now I hope these parents didn't teach him to go kill. But once you have put that in people, you don't know how they're going to react to it, how they're going to take that information and process it.
Right. Girl, some of these topics is really hitting me in the throat. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
real.
absolutely. And now, for me, it still would have been a child. I don't care what color it is. It's still a child. But
Hmm.
yes, you're right. Our critical race theory system definitely address it. Even in media, it addresses it different.
Right, because who was that? Was the young man who got the Big Mac?
Had he been melanated, they wouldn't have even said his age.
Yeah, the non-melanated young man. You know what? That's actually true. If no, if he's melanated, a lot of times they say their age and then their past.
Hmm.
They share the things that led up to that. So they give the age. You know what I'm saying? Or they give descriptive terms when they're dealing with non-melanated people. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
thugs.
then for melanated people, they get their age is out there, their history is out there. They used to be here when this happened yesterday, 5 years
Yeah,
ago. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So on and so forth.
Their
But then,
parents, we go into their parents,
like
their
finding
grandparents, where they
information
live.
finding information about some of these non-melanated events, and that's another reason why the list is not as
You ain't
girthy
gonna
as it
find it.
could be. It's hard to find more details about non-melanated people.
Oh
When
yeah.
it's a melanated suspect, it was so easy. All the information was on the main page.
Yeah. And let
Not
me
much
tell you
research
something. As
necessary.
an educator of students who are considered adults, to me they're children. They're between the ages of 17. And most of my students were between the ages of 17 and 25, with a couple of, 30 sprinkled in there. But like it was just so obvious in their everyday life how they viewed things and what would happen. I had one student who was a child of an officer. I don't know in what aspect. Maybe he was a sheriff or something. But this girl got away with everything. When I say tickets, DUIs, fights out in the streets and bars, and not you won't find any of the things that I witnessed this child do while she was in school. If, let's say, God forbid, 10 years from now she ends up being some type of criminal, or she ends up not, if she ends up being somebody great, none of the things that I witnessed her do while she was in school, there's no record of it.
Mm,
None.
wow. Oh, Linda said once you instill that negative information to your child, you don't know how that's going to register to the child.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Whole facts. Whole facts. So when this happened, there were 10 people who were killed. There were 3 total injuries, and the only injuries came from the parking lot. So basically, what happened is that he got out the car and he was like, "All right, got to do it now. Like, might as well." And then he went in. He said, "Preach, Linda." He went in and there was someone in the parking lot who saw him. He saw some minorities out there. He shot them. There were three of them that were injured, one of which died. So that was the
Mm,
first person who died. He went inside, and when he started to shoot, the security officer saw him, and the security officer immediately starts to shoot at him. And he, of course, had on tactical gear, so he was safe. And he turned around and opened fire on the guard. The guard
mm,
went down.
mm.
And so thankfully they were able to get this guy. But the thing is, it just does not make sense how um, things like that just like there were police in the area though. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. And it's like, how does it get that bad to where it's like you just not gonna show up at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the in the parking lot. And that's the thing. I told you, like these some of these events that happen, y'all, let me tell y'all, can I be transparent for a second? Doing some research for this 2022 progress report, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was so much information that I read, and it's so much stuff that is just discouraging. Thank goodness for my ability to reason within myself. Because if you just look at some of these situations at face value, it is disheartening. It's discouraging and it's stressful. Okay, it is just stressful. I think I have acquired more knowledge than I would have cared to at this point,
Yeah.
and it is definitely stressful because the last thing that's on our list, y'all, the last thing that happened, and it's not even the last. That's the worst part. But
Yeah.
the
It's the
most
last thing
recent,
we had listed.
the last thing we got to talk about is
Mm.
on May 16th, Kavia Simmons was killed by her boyfriend after an altercation, and then he killed himself. Y'all, um this girl posted on her social media that she's finally single or that she's single now,
Mm-hmm.
and the post is still there,
Mm-hmm.
and she was dead by that evening or unalived.
What the
Yeah,
heck? Did you say unalived? I
I
can't.
did. You ain't see the thing glitch when I said the other word? It
Yeah.
glitched, and then I said unalived, and it's clear, so there it is. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
I
mm,
missed this one. I didn't hear this one. And goodness, it just happened a few days ago.
yeah,
Um, I'm assuming they were melanated. Her name Kavia Simmons.
yeah,
She
and
sound
it was
like
in Escambia
sound,
County in Pensacola, Florida.
she sound extra. Of course, it was in Florida. She
Of
sound
course.
extra melanated. But wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if because we've always we because of the nature and like who I'm teaching, and we always would have domestic violence type seminars and human trafficking things like to teach people what signs to look for. And it's just like, could this have been avoided?
Right. Did you see it
It's
coming?
scary.
Like, I hate to even err on the side of what some people are saying where they're like she provoked him and stuff like that, but at the same time, just like with the police officer situation, like these are two black people,
Like,
and
how do you
it
provoke
still
somebody to kill
stands,
you?
you know what I'm saying, it still stands to reason that the whole, and this is going to be our closing, we've been in the corner, but the whole concept of if I can't have you, nobody can, has to stop,
Mm.
bro. That
Mm-hmm.
has to come to an end at some point. And it's just like how you were saying, full circle, where it comes with the parents teaching their children, or even the community, the village, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
teaching that it's to be understood that this is the value of a human life, be it
Yeah.
black, white, purple, or green.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of what it comes down to, understanding the value of a human life.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, everyone, before I get to in the throat here tonight, gangsters don't cry. All right, so
I ain't
with
no gangster.
that,
I'm a crybaby.
I know you definitely. Let me tell you, I am not a
No,
crybaby by
I'm not
any
a gangster.
means, but
I'm not a
again,
gangster.
going through a lot of the stuff that's happened in 2022 so far that's impacted the melanated community, it's just stressful.
It
It's
is. It's a lot.
stressful.
But I really feel like with it being the way it is, like we really gotta love on each other hard and really be there,
Absolutely.
look out for one another, have those hard conversations and not be so selfish all the time and look out for one another. Because if we don't look out for us, clearly we see what's happening out here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I believe, which one was that when we talked about Kwanzaa, self determination? We went through talking about Kwanzaa with self determination,
Mm-hmm.
community, and things like that. Like, if you haven't had a chance to tune in on our Kwanzaa episode, go ahead and check it out. It's called Kujijakalia, and you can go in and take a look and see things about self determination as well as the different qualities of Kwanzaa's, or the tenets of Kwanzaa, where it talks about how our community just needs to come better together. And
You know, I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead, keep going. I didn't want to lose my thought.
no, go ahead, give it.
No, it just made me think of something else that should have been on this list. Y'all heard about the Juneteenth ice cream? Great value. Walmart that came out with an ice cream called Juneteenth. And of course, people are very divided about this. Well, not even divided. Everybody like, that's some bull. The ice cream is red velvet cake mixed with cheesecake flavor. So it's red velvet and cheesecake flavor ice cream, and it is to pay homage to Juneteenth. And the melanin community is not having it. They're like, this some bull. Yes, that's it. There you go. The Juneteenth ice cream. So, okay, initially, I just told you, friend, what you think about it. All right, Stan say he not eating that.
I'm gonna be real with you. Can I be honest?
That's what I want. You know, that's what I want.
Friend, but I like red velvet cheesecake.
Okay, so that's what I was saying. Like, I didn't. Here's the thing. I don't know whether people are offended because of the flavoring. Because I mean, they got Christmas ice cream. You could get Christmas theme ice cream. You
Oh
could
my
get
gosh.
heck, you could get Hanukkah. You know, got all type of stuff. They got birthday cake. They have different flavor ice creams for different celebrations. So why not Juneteenth? But who I want to know who was on this
Ooh.
panel and
Girl,
who sat there and
Tyrone.
said,
That
let's
was
make it
Tyrone.
red velvet cheesecake flavor. And then like they was on the radio talking about it, and they was like, they don't even match. And I was like, well, yes, they do, because red velvet cake got cream cheese icing. So
but red velvet cheesecake is bussin'.
that's
Girl,
good
remember
too,
Louisiana
right? For
Bistro?
cheesecake, I do think
And Louisiana Bistro had some
I'm
really good red velvet
I'm
cheesecake. Y'all
curious.
made me cry for real. I'm mad.
I'm
Oh,
curious.
friend, we should do a TikTok. So me and my friend about to be together for a couple days. We should do a TikTok.
We
We're gonna
are
go
gonna
find
go
this ice
live
cream.
trying this ice
Oh, we're
cream
gonna go
this
live?
week. We're
Bet.
gonna go live trying this
Bet.
ice cream. I'm gonna
Bet.
try it.
Friend,
Because it's almost
find it.
like you can't win with us. It's like we cry about not being included, and then they include us, and we cry about how they included us.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I'm gonna try the daggone ice cream. And we're gonna go live on TikTok. Y'all make sure y'all tune in. We are gonna go live and
Yes.
try this ice cream.
Please tune
And
in. We're
talk
gonna try
trash,
the ice
y'all.
cream on TikTok. Are we gonna let them know on our other social media to come over to TikTok and look? I guess we'll tell y'all. We'll post and we'll let y'all know we're gonna go live and we're gonna try the Juneteenth ice cream. All right. So yes, absolutely.
And if it's good, it's gonna be on the menu for Juneteenth.
Period. That part, girl. So it's gonna be a home staple. Okay.
Stan said, but I had to
don't
say
let it taste good. Don't let it taste good.
See, even right, that sound good, y'all. Stop fronting.
All right,
we
so
try this Juneteenth. We all gonna be together too. We gonna try this.
Yes. So listen, we're gonna all get together and we're gonna do that. So you said make sure you have some watermelon with it. Can I tell you something real fast? Because we over our time, y'all. Although y'all are having a good time and we're enjoying your presence, please know. But the watermelon situation, right? The man, for lack of better words, I don't know who exactly to give the responsibility of this to, but the way melanated people used to make money, they used to make money by selling watermelons. They were very, very, very successful and prosperous through the sales of the watermelons.
Oh, so fast? They took it off the shelf? Oh, that's corny. They were talking about it. They were talking about banning it. He said they banned it. It's off the shelves.
I'm mad.
We live in Florida. I live in Florida, so it might still be here because
it's probably still in Florida. But yeah, the watermelon situation was literally profitable for the melanated community. So what the opposer did was made it a negative connotation, kind of like fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So they took it and made a negative connotation with it. Like
So
they
that it
started
wouldn't
creating those
sell.
cartoons and stuff like that. And this dates way back. You should really look it up. It's pretty dope content. But yeah, so they took the power from us by creating that negative
Negative.
connotation with watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
So I will gladly sit down and eat my watermelon with no spoon and fork. I will eat it. Give me a slice and I'm sticking it to my face. It is what it is.
Yes. So on that note,
Yes. So our positive vibe on the way out the door though. So our tip for the week, just like Kia was saying before we went on and talked about the Juneteenth ice cream, because that was something. Um what we were discussing before, it's important that we support one another.
yes.
It's important that we come together and we don't allow division or divisiveness to take precedence over our success.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So be aware of what's going on. If you see your friend and you haven't hugged them in a while, go on and give them a hug. Okay. If you see someone who you care about or even somebody you don't know, just give them a word of encouragement. Take a moment out of this week on behalf of the Melanin Mindset to go ahead and spread some love. Whatever it is that you do, hashtag official MFer and let us see you out there supporting your community. Okay. So before we
Yes.
go, of course, you all know we do have items that are selling right now on the melaninmindset.org. So please go ahead and swing through and grab your Melanin Mindset merch. Say that 10 times
Mm-hmm.
fast.
Melanin
Melanin
mindset merch,
Mindset
melanin
merch.
mindset merch, melanin mindset merch.
Of course you would. Mind you, that was three. You
I know.
stopped.
I got tired. I got hungry.
All right, anywho. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. It's been real, I mean, real crazy. 2022's recap as we discussed our progress report as to things that'll happen. Friend, you think we're going to do an annual recap at the end of the year, you think?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We should round this thing up. We're going to make
We
this a
definitely
thing.
are. But just know we're gonna start from June because we already did January to May.
That part. We already did January to May, so it's gonna pick up in June, okay?
Mhm.
So with that and nothing else to say, y'all remember to protect your peace, share this with someone you care about, and we're out of here.